It was April 1st, 2006, just another Friday night in Columbus, Ohio, you know? Spring was tiptoeing in, but the air still had that bite of winter, making it feel a bit crisp and fresh. The streets around the Ohio State University campus were alive with the usual weekend buzz, laughter ringing out, music thumping, and the sound of heels clicking on the pavement. Students were out in full force, ready to unwind before diving into another week of classes. Among the crowd was Brian Shaffer, a 27-year-old med student who was the kind of guy everyone loved. He was smart, kind, and had that handsome charm that made him stand out. With a loving girlfriend and a solid group of friends, he seemed to have it all. But underneath that polished exterior, things were starting to feel a bit off for Brian. You could sense that he was quietly grappling with some deeper struggles, and it made you wonder what was really going on in his mind. That Friday, he was just itching to shake things up for one night. You know, blow off some steam and feel normal again, right? So, he met up with his buddy, Clint Florence, and they kicked off an epic night of bar hopping across the Arena District. Picture this. They were laughing, sharing stories, and sipping on drinks that made the world feel a little lighter. As the night rolled on, they found themselves at this quirky bar on the second floor of a building near campus, a place with a name that made them chuckle, the Ugly Tuna Saloon. It was packed with energy, and the vibe was just right for a night to remember. That final moment, Brian turning away and strolling back into the bar, was the last time anyone ever saw him. Can you believe it? Just like that, poof, gone. Then, around 1:55 a.m., the cameras caught Brian chatting for a moment with two women near the bar entrance. He smiled, waved goodbye, and turned back toward the bar's interior. You could almost feel the energy of the night, a mix of laughter and chatter, as if the whole place was alive with possibilities. It was just a regular night out, but little did anyone know how things would unfold. There were moments when he'd laugh at a joke or smile at a memory, and she could see the spark of the person he used to be. But then, just like that, the shadows would creep back in, and he'd retreat into himself. It was so tough for her, standing by, hoping and praying he would find his way back to the vibrant guy she fell in love with. You know, she just wanted him to know he wasn't alone in this fight. That Friday, he was just itching to shake things up for one night. You know, blow off some steam and feel normal again, right? So, he met up with his buddy, Clint Florence, and they kicked off an epic night of bar hopping across the Arena District. Picture this. They were laughing, sharing stories, and sipping on drinks that made the world feel a little lighter. It was the kind of night where worries seemed to fade away, even if just for a little while. As the night rolled on, they found themselves at this quirky bar on the second floor of a building near campus, a place with a name that made them chuckle, the Ugly Tuna Saloon. The atmosphere was electric, filled with laughter and chatter, and the music pulsed through the air, making it impossible not to smile. The vibe was just right for a night to remember, and for Brian, it was a chance to escape the weight on his shoulders, even if just for a moment. It felt like freedom, and he was ready to embrace it. That final moment, Brian turning away and strolling back into the bar, was the last time anyone ever saw him. Can you believe it? Just like that, poof, gone. Then, around 1:55 a.m., the cameras caught Brian chatting for a moment with two women near the bar entrance. He smiled, waved goodbye, and turned back toward the bar's interior. You could almost feel the energy of the night, a mix of laughter and chatter, as if the whole place was alive with possibilities. It was just a regular night out, but little did anyone know how things would unfold, and that's where it ends. That final moment, Brian turning away and strolling back into the bar, was the last time anyone ever saw him. Can you believe it? Just like that, poof, gone. When the lights flickered on and it was time to leave, Clint and Meredith hung around the exit, glancing back and forth, hoping to see Brian, but he was nowhere to be found. They searched the bathrooms, peeked out on the patio, checked the nearby street, and even popped into other bars nearby. Still nothing. His phone went straight to voicemail. It was getting late, and they figured maybe he'd just headed home or hit it off with someone new. But the next morning, when Alexis called, all bright-eyed and ready for their weekend trip, that's when the panic really kicked in. He never showed. He never called. He never came home. By Sunday, things took a serious turn, and the police had to step in. At first, they thought it was just a wild night out gone wrong, you know? But that idea vanished fast once the investigators dove into the security footage. They spotted Brian strolling into the Ugly Tuna, but here's the kicker. No cameras caught him leaving. It's like he vanished into thin air. This left everyone scratching their heads, raising a ton of questions about what really happened that night. What could have gone down inside those walls? It's super unsettling, right? That was impossible. The bar sat on the second floor of a small shopping complex. There was only one public way in and out, that single escalator and a staircase, both covered by cameras. The only other exit was through the back, a route used for deliveries and staff, which opened into a construction zone littered with debris and rebar. Even if Brian had tried to leave that way, he would have been seen or found injured. But there was nothing, not a single frame of video. Police checked every bar in the area, interviewed everyone who'd been there that night. No one remembered seeing him. After 2 a.m., they scoured the entire building, the ceiling, the crawl spaces, dumpsters, drains, even the neighboring buildings. Dogs picked up no scent trail. The entire area was turned inside out. Still nothing. The deeper the search went, the stranger the story became. Brian's phone stopped pinging after that night. His credit cards untouched, his car still parked near his apartment. His clothes, his guitar, everything just frozen in time. It was as if Brian had stepped into the bar and been erased from existence. Alexis called his phone every day. It always went straight to voicemail, until one night, months later, it rang 3 times before cutting off. She felt a surge of hope. Maybe he was alive. Maybe he just needed time. But the phone's signal traced to a cell tower over 14 miles away, and it was never active again. Some speculated it was a glitch or that someone had briefly powered on the device, but it only deepened the mystery. Meanwhile, suspicion began to turn toward those closest to him. His friend Clint, the last person confirmed to be with Brian that night, refused to take a polygraph test, something he had every right to do, but which set off alarms among the public. He hired an attorney and stopped speaking to the Shaffer family entirely. Meredith, on the other hand, cooperated fully and passed her test. As the years dragged on, theories began to spiral. Some believed Brian had been murdered inside the bar and hidden before the night was over. Others thought he'd been lured out a back entrance and abducted. More romantic theories said he faked his death to start a new life somewhere far away. After all, before his mother died, he'd told her he sometimes dreamed of just escaping, running off to a tropical island and disappearing for a while. But even if that's what he wanted, no trace of him ever appeared. No passport usage, no bank activity, no sightings, nothing. Brian's father, Randy, spent the next 2 years driving across Ohio, chasing every tip and rumor. He appeared on TV, begged for information, even went to psychics when logic ran out. His hope never dimmed until tragedy struck again. In 2008, during a storm, a branch fell and killed him instantly in his backyard. Neighbors found a memorial photo of Brian still pinned to his refrigerator. After Randy's death, the community raised money for a memorial bench, one that listed both Randy and Brian's names, side by side, but Brian's body was never found. To this day, his disappearance remains one of the most chilling unsolved cases in America. Not because of blood or violence, but because of silence. Cameras don't lie, but that night they captured an illusion, a man walking into a bar, never to walk out. In an age of constant surveillance, where everyone leaves a trail, Brian Shaffer simply ceased to exist. And maybe that's the scariest part, not the thought that something happened to him, but that something could happen like that at all. No screams, no evidence, no goodbye. Just a man, a camera, and a vanishing act that has haunted Ohio ever since.